Thank you. I'll start with you then. When did you find out you were going to appear here today?
I believe I was informed on Monday.
And when did you begin preparing for today's hearing?
And when I was informed on Monday.
Okay. Has CERT done a security testing of healthcare.gov?
We were provided images from CMS of the compromised test servers, and we provided analysis.
I appreciate that. The question was, has CERT conducted any security testing of healthcare.gov's vulnerabilities?
No. As I stated in my opening remarks,
So when Ms. Tavner says there have been no loss of personally identifiable information, if you don't know the vulnerabilities, how do you know that? How would she know that to be true?
I believe that CMS conducts their own scanning and testing, but I'm happy to.
Did you verify their scanning and testing to be sufficient?
We would be happy to provide that information.
Did you?
I haven't been provided any details on the scanning.
So you don't know that?
Within the test network?
Yeah, look, it boils down to you're here as an expert that I didn't expect from an organization that refused to give my staff any briefing related to it.
And I do apologize for that. I was under the impression that our staff was working with your staff to answer those questions, so I'm happy to answer.
No, as of yesterday afternoon, they put people who didn't have technical expertise on who told us they'd get back to us. That's after more than a week of information we've already put in the record where we were denied that. Maybe I'll go on to GAO. I'm going to ask, first of all, your indulgence. When this hearing is over, I would like you to accept the Pardon me?
No, I told her no.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to hear what you had to say.
That can happen. I would like you to accept a briefing and do a supplemental related to the 13 breaches.
Okay.
Ms. Tavner, I'm going to presume that you will agree that he will have full access to all information related to that so that GAO may develop specific additional recommendations based on the actual breaches, if you will, the 13 incidents.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That will allow us to get what we don't have here today, and I appreciate that. But, Mr. Wilscher-Zen, You've gone through an extensive amount. Would you describe for the committee the level of cooperation you believe you got? We've heard what you didn't get. Are there some good news stories in the cooperation as you did your investigation or your audit?
Well, there are some good news and then some not so good news, Mr. Chairman. As we began our audit, and generally we do receive good cooperation from the agencies that we audit as it relates to receiving information requests that we provide. In this case, initially, there were delays in providing certain documents that we had requested. In addition, there were certain, CMS attempted to put certain restrictions on some of the documents.
Did they cite why they were restricting? Are you just not trustworthy?
No, I think they indicated that they were concerned about the sensitive security information.
So they don't trust you?
I wouldn't say that, sir, no. But we elevated the issue within GAO and within the department, and we reached an agreement to where we would be able to, and they did provide the information for us to look at.
So at the end of it all, there was no reason, after it was elevated, there was no reason that they should have denied it to begin with?
In my view, no. They should have provided it earlier. But at the same point, they had a concern about the security of the information. So they tell us, but their motivation would probably be better addressed by the administrator.
Okay. Limited time, and I want to sort of set the stage for what others on both sides of the aisle may ask here. When you looked at the robustness of how they determine with such certainty that there have been no breaches, no loss of personally identifiable information, were you satisfied that all those procedures were robust enough that with the certainty that Ms. Tavner said that no losses had occurred, that no losses had occurred?
Well, we did not receive actual security incident reports on these incidents, at least on the 13. We did receive a written response to an interrogatory in which they indicated that, or at least for the 13, that there was certain PII that was compromised or disclosed to an individual, but it was a consumer. It was to a technical glitch
Well, I understand. So
Right.
personally identifiable information was lost or disclosed.
What's disclosed according to their description.
Okay, Ms. Tavner, others will ask additional questions, but your opening statement said none had been lost. How can we reconcile none has been lost with a sworn statement that some has been lost?
I think what my statement said is there were no malicious attacks on.
So if you just screw up and put the public's information out there, it's okay because it wasn't a malicious attack?
No, sir, I don't think anytime we put consumer information out there, it's okay, but I think.
Okay, so my time has expired, and I want the ranking member to have full time. I just want to make it clear that wordsmithing of no malicious was done versus accidental, just as we discovered at the time of the launch, that if I went to the section above, where the URL normally is, when that thing was launched, if I simply typed in a different number or a different state code, I could have looked at somebody else's record. That was part of what you guys had wrong on the day of the launch, is that you could simply go to somebody else's record by changing that long streak at the top, meaning no code. That wouldn't have been malicious, I guess, except that if somebody were doing it to see what they would get, that would be a little bit malicious. So when you say no personally identifiable information was lost through malicious, what you are saying is you don't know how much was lost, you just believe that the definition of malicious wasn't met. Is that right?
I actually, and I think this relates to the personal incidents, and I do think that we want to cooperate with the GAO on that, and we're happy to review those. And I think
Thank you. Your desire to want to cooperate after we bring you here involuntarily for a hearing is most appreciated, but quite frankly, you should have cooperated with the GAO beforehand.
Sir, I think I always like to cooperate with the GAO and the OIG, and we've had over 140 open audits underway, and I think we have cooperated. I'd also like to say I came here voluntarily.
Thank you.